The cost of women's clothes are going up higher than the cost of men's clothes. Only half of Americans have calculated how much they need to save for retirement. In 2022, more than a quarter of private industry workers with access to a defined contribution plan, such as a 401k, did not participate. The average American spends roughly 20 years in retirement. Women receive Social Security benefits that are on average 80% of those that men receive. Alicia talked about the double bind that women face. Candyce discussed the 17 points in Scrabble for the word champion and what a champion can be worth in your career. In part 1 of the septuplet factor, I covered the 7 things working against women as it relates to their financial experience. If you have not listened to that episode yet, please listen. We need the information, knowledge to then apply and hack the data that is before us as women. And men, there's so much great info that you need to share with all the women in your life. In the septuplet factor, part 1, I also shared 3 things for you to get started on changing your financial experience as a woman throughout your life. And I also provided a free Career Hacker financial tracker that you can use to organize the data for you and your family. Here's a quick recap of the 3 things you need to know. Number 1, know your numbers. Number 2, know your vehicles. And number 3, know your dates. Now that you've had a few weeks to get all your numbers together, find all of your money, remember your money works for you, now it's time to apply pressure to hack the retirement gap that exists. Here are 4 hacks to get you securely to retirement and close the retirement gap. Number 1, invest early. I don't care if you don't do anything else, start today. You can open a Roth IRA online in approximately 15 minutes and put $25 into that account. It just matters that you start. The most important aspect of investing for retirement is time. Let me say that again. The most important factor, the most important aspect of investing for retirement is time. If you haven't started, start now. Number 2, invest often. Your contributions and increasing your contributions to your retirement accounts matters. If you get a 3% raise on your job, are you redirecting that to your retirement account? When you change jobs, are you redirecting the increase that you got in pay to your retirement account? Or are you spending that money by increasing your expenses and discretionary income? When you get a bonus, are you directing 50% or more to your retirement account? These are all questions you have to keep in mind when you're investing for your retirement. Invest with the end in mind. Here's some things to think about when building out your number for monthly annual retirement dollars needed. Not wanted, we're just gonna start with needed. If you have a notepad, jot some of these things down as I cover these buckets, and don't rationalize or talk yourself down about what you won't need. It's always better to err on the higher side than the low end. Number 1, living expenses plussed up. You want to take your total number of expenses and plus up for the rising cost of inflation, which now sits firmly at 7.9%. Number 2, debt. For example, will you still have a mortgage going into retirement, or will you pay that off prior to retirement? Number 3, taxes. What will your tax liability be for your home and your retirement distributions if applicable? Number 4, insurance and healthcare. For women, healthcare is trending at approximately 11% higher than for men. Number 5, children, grandchildren, and parents. I've watched many throughout my life give out of their abundance, give out of their living expenses to their children, their parents, or their grandchildren, because there's no greater love on earth than these relationships. So this is just something to be honest with yourself about, because you will need and you will want to do it. So plan accordingly. Number 6, now to the part that most people aren't thinking enough about. You've worked hard, you've worked long, may or may not have even thought about what you really enjoy in life that you would want to do in retirement as a celebration of the journey. Is it travel? Is it hobbies that will fill the majority of your time? Have you thought about it? So those are 6 things to think about with the end in mind when investing. Next, check your investments. Now that you're investing early, often, and with the end in mind, you still have to do your personal diligence by periodically checking your retirement account. The stress associated with finance is a leading contributor to health conditions. CreditWise survey released in December 2020 showed that finances are the #1 cause of stress at 73%. According to Forbes, individuals with high financial stress are twice as likely to report poor health overall and 4 times more likely to complain of ailments. So in summary, stress can be directly related to your finances. Try timing your investment checks with your annual OBGYN appointment or with your 2 times a year for your dental cleaning. Your health is paramount, so don't let the retirement gap contribute to the demise of your health. To close the gap, it's going to take making this a normal part of the conversation. Every woman listening, go share this podcast with your daughters, with your sisters, friends, with your mentees. Share it with your coworkers, your family. Be sure to share this podcast with them and make it a normal part of the conversation. I love you.